All right, going over the answers to the significant worksheet number 1. In going over this, the answers are for number 1, you have this number. So you have 0.05730 meters. So what you had to do is figure out how many significant figures. Well, we know the 5 is significant, the 7 is significant, the 3 is significant because of rule letter A, where they are non-zero. So that's 3. This 0 at the end, that's at the end of the number, end of the right of the decimal, so that's 4. But what about these zeros out in front? Well, remember, zeros in front of the number are not significant. So this answer would have 4 significant figures. All right. Letter B, we have 8, 7, 6, 5. All 4 of those are non-zeros, so this guy would have 4 significant figures. Letter C is 0.00073. Well, both of those guys are significant. These zeros are in front to the number, so they are not significant, so this answer would have 2 significant figures. In letter D, we have 40.007. The 4 is significant, the 7 is significant. These zeros are in between non-zeros, so therefore they are significant. So all those are, so this guy would have 5 significant figures. So that was number 1. Now we go on to the next one. Number 2, letter A. How many significant figures in each one of these? First one's got 143 grams. All 3 of those are non-zeros, so this guy has 3 significant figures. Second one, we got 0.074. Right, the 7 and the 4 are because they are not zeros. These 2 zeros out in front, they are in front of the number, so they are not significant. So this one has 2 significant figures. Letter C, we have 8.750 times 10 to the negative second. Now this piece over here, that times 10 to the negative second, remember that's not part of the measurement. That just tells me where the decimal is supposed to be. Really the decimal is supposed to be over 2, right? So all we're looking at is this part right here. Well, the 8, the 7, and the 5, those are significant. The 0 is at the end of the number and to the right of the decimal, so it is also significant. So this guy has 4. Now we go to the last one on that one, 1.072. The 1, the 7, and the 2 are all significant because they're non-zeros. The 0 is in between non-zeros, so he is significant. So this guy has 4. All right, now we go to the next part where we got to round them off. So the first one, we got 87.073. It says we're supposed to round that off to 3 significant figures. So the third significant figure would be the 0. So with this 0, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the 7, so I'm going to round this thing off to 87.0. Then it says you're supposed to write this in scientific notation. I'm going to make that decimal bigger. There you go, so you can see it. So writing this thing in scientific notation means I need 1 digit in front of the decimal. So I need to bump this over. So this becomes 8.70 times 10. How many times did I jump? 1. And the number beforehand was bigger than 1, so therefore it's positive 1. Second one, 4.3621 times 10 to the 8th. All right, the times 10 to the 8th, we don't worry about that in regards to significant figures. We're just worried about all this. Well, all those digits are significant. We need the third one. The third one is 6. So we're going to round off the 6 by looking at the 2. So this rounds off to 4.36 times 10 to the 8th. And that one's already written in scientific notation, so I don't have to fix that. That's already done. Letter C, 0.01552. Well, third significant figure. Well, these guys are not significant. So there's my first, second, third. There's the third one. So I'm going to look at the 2. So when I round this thing off, we're going to get 0.0155. Okay. Now I got to write this thing in scientific notation. I need this 1 out in front of the decimal. So I'm going to bump this decimal over so I get 1.55 times 10. How many places did I jump? 1, 2. And that number was way smaller than 1, so it's negative. So it was 1.55 times 10 to the negative second. Letter D, we got 9,009. Ooh, this one's tricky. We got to go to the third significant figure. Well, 1, 2, 3. Oops. Here is the third significant figure. So I'm going to round off by looking at the 9. So if I round this thing off, the common mistake that people make is they make this and they go, well, it's 901. Well, is 901 the same as 9,009? Think of that in dollars. $9,009 is nowhere near 901. So I actually do need a 0 after that in order to bump this over, so it's really like 9,010. All right, now I got to write this thing in scientific notation. So I need to take this decimal and bump it over here and make it 9.01. Now that's when it turns up to be 3 significant figures. Times 10, I really went 1, 2, 3 places. And that number was way bigger than 10, so it's a positive 3. All right, letter E. 1.7777 times 10 to the negative 3. Well, there's 1, 2, 3. So I'm rounding off there by looking at that next 7. So that gives me 1.78 times 10 to the negative third is the right answer. Let me move this down so you can see the bottom one. All right. Then the very last one on this, we've got 629.55. Well, the third significant figure is at 9. We can look at the 5. So that rounds off to, that ends up bumping up to 630. Oh, there's a 0 at the end. But we're going to come back to that, okay? The decimal, when we do this thing as significant figures, we're going to take this decimal, bump it over, make it 6.30. I do need that 0. That makes it the third significant figure. Times 10 to the second. This number is bigger than 1, so therefore it's positive second. All right, that was number 3. Question number 4 is we got to round them off to 1 significant figure. Oh my word. So if we go up to this guy up here, I'm going to do these in red. Yeah, let's make them green. I think they'll show up better. Just a little bit. There we go. So I round this guy off to 1. That means I look at the 8, or round off the 8 by looking at the 7. This guy rounds off to 9 times 10 to the first. Wow, man, but when I go from 3 significant figures to 1 significant figure, look how much error occurs. It really goes from 87 to 90. All right, we're starting to bring in some real error when we only use 1 significant figure. We go to this next one, round it off to 1 to 4. We look at the 3, so this guy rounds off to 4 times 10 to the 8th. This one here, round off at that spot, looking at the 5. Ooh, this becomes 2 times 10 to the negative second. Okay, that's also a really big error. Next one, we round off the 9 by looking at the 0. So this one becomes 9 times 10 to the third. And the last one there, we round off the 1 by looking at the 7, becomes 2 times 10 to the negative third. And my very last one, we round off the 6 by looking at the 3, becomes 6 times 10 to the second. All right, so notice that difference in the green versus the black. The black ones have 3 significant figures. The green ones only have 1 significant figure for number 4. Okay. Well, that concludes that worksheet. All right, those are all your right answers.